Hello and welcome. Please excuse me for the technical difficulties that I've been encountering. This thing is ridiculous. I'm on a system whereby you've got to create an event earlier and YouTube is meant to calculate when it goes live. Well, anyway, it didn't work. So apologies if you've been hanging around in the group chat. We now have a new group chat, which we're going to go and find in a second. For those of you that are new to this concept, we've called it YouTube, and this is really all about your opinions about what you, the lovely West Ham fans, have been saying on the forum, on the YouTube comments, on Twitter, on social media, and just really getting your views about everything that's going on in the world of West Ham at the moment. As I say, we're running a little bit late. We were meant to go live at 9, so only the 18 minutes, but what's 18 minutes between friends? It's quite funny, actually, because quite a lot has happened just since we've done a cup of tea last night. And I'll be starting by working through the comments on a cup of tea. Then I'll be moving on to the group chat, which I haven't pulled up just yet. But so today was a season ticket renewal deadline, which was at 5 o'clock. Then about 4 o'clock, this story came out that we might be interested in Paris Saint-Germain's Javier Pastore. Just before season ticket renewal deadline had passed. And then it was basically poo-pooed at about 6 o'clock once it had elapsed by saying, oh, no, he's on too much money. We can't possibly afford anybody from Paris Saint-Germain. So, yeah, there's that was sort of how the rumours have been going, really. So that was just today. I'm seeing a lot of the comments will be about Ryan Fredericks, who apparently has already signed. He's with Fulham. He's over in the States, but the I's have been dotted and the T's have been crossed and all that sort of thing. So we're expecting him soon. Right, what we're going to do is I'm just clicking up. I'm going to look. I'm on my laptop at the moment. I'm going to look through the internet. We're going to go live. We're basically making it up as we go along, and I'm going to read out some of your comments and basically work from there. Right. Okay. Let's have a look. We'll start off with, first of all, I think on the forum. Now, on the forum, we were looking at Marco Arnautovic. Now, that's all right. I've got it all up now. Now, it started a thread the other day, and it was what price for Arnautovic. Now, the thread was started by Whiskey Man on the forum, and what he said was, let's be realistic. If Manchester United want Arnautovic, the chances are that he'll want them back. So if reported, and they do make an approach, what should be the asking price? So this thread was all about if he kicks up a stink and he asks to go, what the asking price should be. Now, we covered this on a cup of tea last night. Now, the general consensus was that I didn't want him to go. Gio thought 50 million. If they offered a little bit more, he would accept it. Now, there's been a bit of a mixed response to this, and I'll be very interested to see what you guys think in the chat on the right hand side. Hammer Time says it's a tough call to make. Arnie might well have his head turns, but he'd have to consider his role at both clubs. He goes on to say that Arnautovic is the first name on the team sheet, but if he went to Man U, he'd probably be back up to Lukaku. Now, Neville Bartos, who is a regular poster on the forum, which is hammerschat.com, by the way. Get yourselves over there if you haven't done already. He says anything 40 million or above would be good money. He says if he wants to go, we have to take the money. We've seen players spit the dummy out often enough to know that if they want out, then they'll basically get their way. So it's just a case of how much we can fleece out of Man U. Now, there's been a lot of conflicting stories. We well know that Arnautovic used to play for Mourinho at Inter Milan, but he didn't play him very much at all. He didn't fancy him. I think he said he was like a child or something like that. And there's also, the rumour was started because I think Austria played Russia. But somebody has said it's got nothing to do with Arnautovic because apparently Mourinho is going to be doing punditry work in Russia over the World Cup. Having said that, the World Cup don't start yet. So I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a funny one, but I just think it really would be sod's law that exactly at the time we get a good manager, actually, we lose some players. And again, I'd be interested in your comments about this. What about Lanzini? I mean, I think there's every chance that Lanzini could have an absolutely storming World Cup. So I don't know. I think it'd be a mainstay of that Argentina team. I think if he gets in, he could score goals, he could make assists, and then we're in banging trouble, really. So anyway, over to the group chat. Tommy Boy's on there. The first thing I can see is somebody saying this. Tom saying the abuse is constant. Who's abusing who? By the way, Charlie's on there. Hello, Charlie. We've got 32x. Did we work out whether that was 32x or that was 32 times? I don't know, but he's a regular poster, and it's nice to have him on here. Big Matt says, "Get your YouTubes out." Oh no, he just says, "Get your tubes out," which hopefully not. That sounds like a pretty dangerous medical procedure. Anyway, last night, myself and Gio did the cup of tea, and I think, as someone has just mentioned on the chat, Gio said 60 million was the figure that he would be happy to take. So sorry if I misquoted him there. We'll start with, again, a regular poster here, which is my showbiz name. He says, "I'm 34, possibly still considered young." I think you are. We'll let you have young. Although I think of being a West Ham fan, ages similarly to dogs. So I think he thinks the age ratio is a lot worse. I think he's feeling at 34 in dog years. I think he's feeling about 100 because he supports West Ham. He says it doesn't matter who we're linked to. It's all about the faith in what the club and manager are doing. We think Pellegrini knows his onions. We hope the board don't get in his way. I mean, that's the first comment, isn't it? It's all about faith in what the club and the manager are doing. They're two separate entities, and what they need to do is bring them together and hope that something happens. As I say, we've signed nobody yet, so let's keep our powder dry. I mean, I'm not starting to worry yet, but I mean, are you guys? GB January has said in the comments for the cup of tea, said Arnautovic is our best player and we definitely need to keep him. So we know how he feels about it. Miles Austin, he loves this show. He's not a West Ham fan, but he's learned a lot from us guys on West Ham issues. I don't think you have, Miles, to be fair. We know very little. As we said last night, this is not the place to come if you want sage wisdom, that's for sure. Treffine Artist. I think I got it right. Again, a regular poster. He says you've got to keep Arnie. He loves his ability. He has got he's displayed the right attitude. He agrees there's some good players outside of the EPL, but he doesn't mean the Championship. But I think what he's saying is, responding to what Gio said, that the money from Arnie could be reinvested elsewhere. There are some good players outside of the Premier League, but I think he wants to keep. Joshua Ryan Schroer, hopefully I've pronounced that right. He said Watford seem to be able to work around work permits. They got Richarlison in quick. That's about Santos. We weren't sure whether Santos coming in. Apparently we're applying for a work permit. I've got to say, it's a long time that I can remember anyone being denied entry because of a work permit. It just seemed to get them. A big fuss is made, but they get them anyway. Right, anyway, back over to the group chat. It's all about Carvalho. I heard something here. So that was Michael Cole-Walder. Thank you. He's made a comment about Carvalho. Apparently Carvalho's bought his contract out. He's available on a free. Is that right? Have I heard that right? Ben Davis, we'll discuss this, Ben. Ben Davis says, did you see what Stuart Pearce said about his time at the club? Great comment. What Ben is talking about there, for those of you that don't know, is that Stuart Pearce had said in the whole time he was at the club, he never met, I think he said Sullivan, and I think he said Brady. Now, a lot of stink has been kicked up by this, but I might surprise you because my opinion's slightly different on this one. We don't want them at the training ground. The whole point is that there's two things that managers don't want. They don't want owners at the training ground, and they don't want owners going to the dressing room after games. So I think the very fact that they have left them alone was probably a good thing. We criticise them for being too involved sometimes. They left them alone. Having said that, it is a bit weird that he wasn't offered a handshake when he joined, and probably again when they left. But as I say, I think owners need to stay away from the football parts. Peterman FC says Carroll out. He wants to get rid of Andy Carroll. The chat is going quick, boys. I'm trying to keep up. I don't normally watch the chat when we do the cup of tea. Gio watches the chat. I don't watch the chat because it's very, very distracting and quite funny, to be honest. We had someone talking about Tinder yesterday. Tom Atherton says he's got loads of stadiums left to visit. That's Tom, who's often on our show, big part of Hammer's chat. I take it he's talking about going around and visiting as many stadiums as possible. Matt thinks Andy Carroll could be a centre-back. Yes, sorry, Super Stubbsy. Yes, thanks, mate. He's just confirmed that it was Sullivan, and indeed it was Brady that he said he'd ever met. Does that mean, though, that Stuart Pearce had met David Gold? I don't know. James Gunn says Pellegrini out. Obviously, he's joking. Right, let's get back to the comments from the Cup of Tea. We've got Phil McDonald here. He says, totally agree with Gonzo. Very kind of you, Phil, and a wise choice, my friend. He agrees about Arnie. When have we ever improved our squad by selling one of our best players? Ask Spurs fans how they improved their team by selling Bale and Modric. They were rescued by Kane and Ali, who cost them bobbins after several years of poor investment in players. I think when they sold Bale, they bought... spent £30 million on Lamella. I remember that. You wouldn't say that was money well spent, would you? Yeah, I think it's a general rule. Don't sell your best players. I think that's basically it. Rob Fluke, hello, mate. What have we got? Bado Hammer again. We knew he came down the boat. Very nice fella. Met him and his son. Was it Connor? Maybe. Let me know. I've got that right. Sorry, apologies if I have. Came down with his son. He likes the blueprint. He hopes we don't start by selling our best performers like last season. I think he's meaning the blueprint of the new manager coming in. As it stands, a new keeper would be a priority, or just to sign him as backup for Adrian. Yeah, I mean the keeper one is going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. Joshua Ryan Schroeder again says Arnie must stay. He seems to love it here. And he's had the best season of his Premier League career. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I mean, I think there's a lot to be said for that. Players come over and they get settled, particularly players who have been previously nomadic, going from club to club. Sometimes they need a place to stay and find a place where they're loved. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether it'd be the right move for Arnautovic to go to Man United, particularly the style of football that Mourinho's playing. Having said that, an extra $100 in your back pocket goes a long way, doesn't it? Oh dear. Mark Redmond, he's been very dismissive. He says, you ain't getting Martial or Rashford. Pair of jokers, he says. I put the attitude in there in the voice bit. I did the attitude. But I imagined that he said it with that level of attitude. There's some replies to it, so we'll go through those now. We said that maybe Martial or Rashford would be a part of an exchange for Arnautovic. He doesn't like it. But I'll tell you what, Mark, with your attitude, he's not going to get games. They're not going to get games. You've got Sanchez in there, and he's stopping Martial and Rashford getting games, and you're rumoured to be interested in Gareth Bale, who generally, likes to come in off the left. I think you're going to be hard-pressed to keep those players happy, so you never know. A Fox. I don't think it's A Fox. His name is A Fox. I don't think it is a real Fox because they have trouble writing what with the pause and all. He said Mark Redmond. Neither seem to be happy at Man U, talking about Martial or Rashford, and Salah, De Bruyne, Lukaku. He's mentioning those as well, which of course are all players that Jose Mourinho let go. So he's saying the joke will be on you. It will just be that history repeating itself if Jose Mourinho let Martial and Rashford go. He does have a habit of letting good players go. Is he that good a spotter of talent? Yeah, people don't like the guy's comments. Oh, so hold on. A Fox. He says, A Fox is what Mark Redmond said. A Fox, I'm not a Man U fan. Why would they want a bang average player like him anyway? As for you signing Martial or Rashford, lots of emojis, laughing, belly aching. He's laughing. He finds it very, very funny. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, there you go. There's a lot of interchange between everybody there. Gio and Gonzo, do not forget the Premier League rule that there must be a minimum of 8 aged over 22 years homegrown players in a squad of 25. Yes. Okay. Well, this is a good point. I like this one. Hart Collins, Cresswell, Byram, Noble, Antonio, Carroll, and Hugo were the homegrown 8 players. So, if Fredericks comes in, then that's obviously going to be one of them. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. I mean, you'd expect Carroll to leave. You'd expect Hugo to leave. Collins is obviously gone. Hart's gone. So that would indicate we need to bring in 4 homegrown players. That's interesting, right? Now, homegrown doesn't necessarily mean English. Wilfred Zaha is a homegrown player because he came up through the academies, plays for Ivory Coast. Now, I believe Victor Moses, another one, plays for Nigeria, came up through Crystal Palace's academy. So that's a really, really good point. We've not discussed that yet. Where are we going to get these extra 4 English players from? Over 22 years, so we can't promote Nathan Holland and include Declan Rice in that. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens there. Fox getting a name drop. Yes, he is. Tom. Oh, you are joking, Tom, aren't you? Are you joking? Oh, dear. Okay. There's this thing on called Super Chat, and you can donate money for some reason. Please don't donate any money. But Tom has just donated. Tom's just donated £2, which I will give to. I'll put straight in the Isla Fund, and he's demanded I do the floss dance. Oh, I don't know. My kids are laughing outside. Can you hear this? Someone's just demanded I'm doing the floss dance. Not good. You think I should do it, do you? Come on, Gonzo. I've got to do the floss dance. Oh, no. What do you mean, wait? No, not wait. No, sorry. I've got an audience here. I'm gonna do, I don't know. I'm doing the flossing, ain't I? I don't listen. No, don't record. You don't need to record. There's enough people watching. Anyway, excuse me. I'm live. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, crikey. Floss for Isla. There you go. There's your floss. Oh, this has taken a strange turn, this football video. Thank you, Charlie. Yeah, there you go. I'll do it all. Flossing. I'm not dabbing. You can't pay me enough to dab. And the what's the one? And the Big Shack. We don't do the Big Shack. But there you go. Anyway, I was going to go back to the general chat, but it's all taken a funny turn. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Matt. West Ham Jordan, Gonzo, I sent you my video over to your email and Facebook. I didn't receive it, Jordan. I didn't at all. That's right. You said you weren't on Twitter. I'll check my Facebook. I think you might have sent it to Geo Gonzo account. Oh, it's in. I'll tell you what. Send it to Gonzo hammerschat@gmail.com. I'll type it in here. I'll type it in now. You send it there. I'll get it, right? I'm going to type it into live chat now. Here we go. Excuse me, I can't multitask. I'm trying. Right, there you go. I'll put it in the live chat. You should see that. Thank you, Clayton. So, yeah, sorry. Lots of 7 out of 10 for the floss. I'm happy with 7 out of 10. I can tell you that. If you send your video to there, which is gonzohammerschat@gmail.com, Jordan, then I will put your video up. We'll put your video up on this channel. This is such a showcase channel. We want to see what you can do. We'll probably draw the line at flossing videos. Well, maybe. You never know. If we could incorporate football into the floss, then maybe there might be something around there. Right then, back to your 11 out of 10, Peter, Man City fan. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. Okay, right. So what we got here? We got somebody saying that he's quite happy with Fredericks. That's the Fast and the Bulbous. The Fast and the Bulbous. That's an interesting name. He also thinks that Zabaleta will take Fredericks under his wing and throw Santos in at left centre back, and it could be fairly solid. Come on, you Irons has posted, I'm not sure about the Moyes anti-football tag. This is great. We want all opinions here. It's a remember he came along when we were in a state and survival in the Prem was his aim. So he set out his stall accordingly. It's open to debate whether given a new clean season, he would have been non-attractive. Yeah, I get what you're saying. He fulfilled his remit, didn't he? There's no doubt about it. And I think even Stuart Pearce was saying, actually, he recouped 25 million in the transfer window. So actually, he was working at a loss anyway. Having said that, there's not a lot to see in his managerial record to suggest that he was going to suddenly sort of metamorphosize into Pep Guardiola or whatever. not only do you look at his time at West Ham, look at Sunderland, look at it. I didn't watch anything in Spain, so we won't talk about that. Certainly at Man U, they were saying that they was playing long ball, and Everton, we all know what they played like as well. I mean, they were labelled the dogs of war, weren't they? So I'm not so sure, but you know, was it anti-football? I don't know. I don't think even Gio was saying it was anti-football. I just think Gio was saying that Pellegrini doesn't like anti-football, if you know what I mean. Anyway, there's a reply to that. Thank you, Andrew Wickstead, by the way. William Finney actually 100% agrees with Come On You Irons. He says, remember, the grass isn't always greener. He says his forecast is that Pellegrini will be gone within 6 months. Wow. 6 months. What do we think? I don't know. That's a strong coffee. Okay, back onto the chat. So whenever I go on to read the other stuff, I come off the chat. So I'm not watching the chat constantly, just so you know. Get Big Mike to floss. I don't think he's talking about you know, dental work. I think he's definitely talking about the stunning dance that you all just saw me do. Charlie Walsh, accept. Something must have gone on before here. What is Charlie accepting? Apparently I would have got an 8 out of 10 if I'd have done that topless. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. You really don't. It's no good. What's put in here? Why post another floss? We've already seen the best there is. That's what Charlie's saying. That's what Charlie's talking about. He's a wise man, but he accepts. I think somebody wants Charlie to floss. Super Stubbsy took my son to his first West Ham game this season. Spurs, we lost 3-2. Chelsea, we won 1-0. Tickets were 70 quid each, plus 32 quid for the train fare. Best part of 200 for the day. Yeah, I mean, it's very, very expensive. Where'd you live, Super Stubbsy? Where'd you live, mate? 32 quid for the train. How far have you got to come in? I certainly, train travel's quite expensive for me. You don't even know what it is for Gio. He has to come on the coach. The train and the plane are obviously, which is what gets him down quickest. Costs an awful lot of money. Super Stubbsy's going to go Cat B matches next season. Big Matt Big. Sorry, I keep calling you Big Matt, but I probably will continue to do that. What about Welbeck? Welbeck? Welbeck. He's been away from the limelight so long that I've forgotten. He's like, how has he gone to the World Cup? Anyway, there we go. Yeah, Matt, what about Welbeck? No, I'm surely not. Surely not. I don't think so. Peter says Byram needs to stay. He's got good potential. Dance, dance, dance. Go on, Gonzo. You've had your dance. There will be no more dancing until next season. Will Lampard get a warm welcome if we get Derby in the Cup? No, you won't get a warm welcome. But I think he might do well. He's an intelligent boy, Lampard. Jamie Still, hi, Gonzo. What's your opinion on potential signing of Pastore, who would be dropped? Listen, mate, I'll give you my opinion, but I want your opinions. To be fair, I think it was a made-up story to sell more season tickets. That's what I think. What was my first West Ham game as a kid? Where is it? Where's the program? Where's the program? It's oh crikey! I'm going to cause an avalanche here. This one. It's here. We won 10-0. Signed on the main channel. I got an interview with Trevor Brooking where I got him to sign this. Brilliant! What a game! It's my first ever game. Second one we lost to Everton. So, Jordan, looking forward to meeting up on the boats next season. So are we. Welbeck is good, but he was injured for ages. James Gunn, Mark Noble for England. Do we really need a 29-year-old Pastore? Or would we sooner have a 26-year-old Carvalho? Is Carvalho too slow for the league, though? Tom thinks that actually it won't take much. I think what he's suggesting is I'll be dancing again quite soon because he's seen me after a few beers. Maybe. But I'm on the coffee. I say the coffee. We say the coffee. I've also been a bit sneaky today. Naughty, but good. This keeps me awake. Ben Davis, who's a lucky man? What am I missed? Right. Clayton, okay, 32X is saying Clayton, ideally, he would have Pastore and Carvalho, but Carvalho is his preference. Where are we? League Cup or FA win next season, says Daz. Yes, mate. Both. We'd take both, wouldn't we? Charlie's not even had a KFC recently. Charlie, clearly I had one today. I went for the zinger, but the zinger wasn't enough, so I've had to add the additional piece of chicken as well. And I stole some. The kids seem to have bigger portions of chips than I did, which are very strange. So I took, it was a tax, like a chip tax. So I took some chips. I don't know if that's right or child abuse or what, but I took a chip tax. So my meal was big in the end. There we go. Right. Jamie Steele, he would like to see Byram stay as a second right back. He likes Zabaleta, but he's got a few years left in him. The thing is, he'd be third right back, Jamie, wouldn't he? He would have to put up with being third right back. If you as you say, Zabaleta's only got a few years left in him. Let's say that few is 2. That means Byram is still going to be back up right back for another 2 years, which will mean he don't even get a shot at the first team until he's 26. He's too old, mate, surely. Bonus banquet indeed. Pizza Go-Go is very poor compared to Domino's or Pizza Hut. They're all poor compared to Pizza Express, aren't they? Clayton is saying that they're different players, but he just talking about Pastore and Carvalho, but he thinks Carvalho is what we need because he's the priority. This is what a turn this has taken. We deal with your comments as they come. A lot of it is flossing fried chicken, which has turned into pizza. Charlie, you're a lucky man if you've had a Pizza Express today, my friend. I can tell you that much. While we are here, I would just like to point out that there's a video on Main Hammers chat, which Charlie has done with Gio's doing the sexy voiceover. Very, very sexy Scottish tones. And he is talking about Chicharito. And it's about how effective the stats and how effective Chicharito actually is, what his conversion rates are. And Charlie has done some wonderful graphics. It's excellent, Charlie, by the way. It is really, really good, really smooth. It's a lovely piece. Hammers Chat Insights. Go and give that a watch. And an excellent thumbnail, as usual, by Connor, who also did this one. And it was Ben that did that picture of me where I look sort of 20 years younger. We've also got a transfer special on the main channel, which I've not seen, obviously, because I was up doing this. So that started 51 minutes ago. Or it finished 51 minutes ago. Who knows? I guess they started at 8:30. They usually do. I'll actually have a look, see if there's any comments on that as yet, but they usually come up, quite late. And were you on it, Charlie? He was. Charlie was. And Tom were on it. Cheeky. Look at them. They can't get enough. They're in the live chat now. They were on that. No comments as yet. As I say, they take a little while to come up. I just want to run through a couple of other just a couple of things about Arnautovic, which are on the main forum. Ron Manager, not the real one, he says 50 million up front for Arnautovic and not a penny less. He also wants to include the loan of Martial, which will make our what's it laugh, won't it, for a season with a guaranteed option to buy. If Martial or his agent don't fancy the deal, then the deal's off. Yeah, I mean, that's a funny one. It's all very well. I was saying to Man U that actually we will only sell you Arnautovic if we get one of those players in return. But actually, we've got to convince them and their agent that they want to come to West Ham. And, of course, that is where Pellegrini plays a huge role, really. Garnett, a lovely fella. We know Garnett comes down the boat. He said, morning, he would like to think that Arnie has been told that we intend to build a side around him. That would certainly satisfy his ego. Certainly, Arnautovic is an egotistical man. And, yeah, maybe if he has told you, or the superstar will build the team around you, then that might encourage him to stay. Is Pellegrini going to do that, though? I think Pellegrini is a man of team ethics, isn't he? So we'll have to see. I don't know. Yeah, Gio did say 60 million. He's happy to see him sold in the thread. Bado Hammer has said he thought we weren't a selling club anymore. That was what was promised. We did say that we wouldn't sell our best players. So I guess it happened with Payet, isn't it? I still worry about Lanzini. I said at the start of the video, I do worry that Lanzini is going to have an absolutely storming World Cup. I really do. 10 million. James Gunn says 10 million and Phil Jones. Flight Time has said Martial will never join us. Ben Davis prefers Rashford. Jamie Steele, 50 million, and Rashford. Clayton would take 50 million. Yeah, Charlie, you're getting some lovely feedback on your insights. You've done a great job there, as I said, mate. 90 million for Arnie, says Peter. Yeah, Noble said we won't run like a circus anymore. How much for Lanzini? There we go. Let's see about you. I want to hear. Let's in the live chat now. How much for Lanzini? Not I don't want him to go. None of us want him to go. Let's say I'm not doing a chicken dance, Matt. Let's say Lanzini kicks up a massive stink, all right, and he wants to go. He has a wonderful World Cup, plays alongside Messi, he's in the FIFA. Let's say he's in the FIFA Player of the Tournament. At the end of the tournament, how much would we take for Lanzini? Okay, they're coming in. 60 million, says James. Ben Davis, 65 to 70 million. Jordan, 60 million. Big Matt Big, 75 million. Daz, 70 million. This is the thing. I think 75 million, 70 million, 50 million, 40 million, 70 million. Great chat. And a chicken drumstick. Very good, Tom. Is he worth more to us than, what's the big fella's name? Van Dijk is worth to Liverpool. Over 75 million. Peter, 67 million. That is very precise, my friend. That is a very, very precise figure. I think you'd have to be looking at anything above 70 million. Brad Wright says £2.50. Obviously tongue in cheek. Oh, he hasn't seen him play. Funny enough, we did a vlog, and there was a bit of a clip which went a little bit viral where Lanzini scores, and then Liverpool came straight down our end, and I think it might have been Oxlade-Chamberlain scored a goal. And I put in the comments afterwards that actually I thought I was worried that Lanzini would end up at Liverpool. And there was a guy that came on and said, don't be ridiculous, he's never good enough to play for Liverpool, he's only good enough to play for West Ham. And I just think, not that I want him sold, I just think he's wrong. I think he's potentially our best player. So I'm worried. I'm worried about it. That's for bloody sure. Okay, I'm just going to click on the transfer window thread on the forum just to see what everyone has been saying on there. This was okay. I mean, they're reacting to the Javier Pastore thing. I've got a couple of pages back, but it looks like they've been talking about it today. Apparently, the player has been sidelined by PSG. This is Neville Bartos again, who certainly knows his stuff. For the right money, he's definitely worth a punt. I think a lot of people fancy him. It's just whether the story is true or not. What else have we got? He's going to be 29 next season, apparently, Pastore. So, Clayton, this is you, Clayton. This is you on the forum. You said he hasn't been at his peak for some time, and that's why he hasn't had much in the way of game time. He wouldn't say he was one for the future. He would much prefer Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who we spoke about yesterday, didn't we? We spoke about him. He was linked with us. I like that. For those of you that didn't watch the cup of tea, I'm really liking that link. He's very, very good. Someone's posted a video of his skills, which I'm not going to look at. Do you know those videos, right? You know those videos where they put all the skills and the clips of a player together? Have you noticed that at the start of those videos, they just let the music plays throughout? I don't know why they've got constant loud music. They might have a bit of background, but it's loud. It's constantly loud. But at the start of the video, they don't actually show you any action for the first minute. They show him running up to the crowd, and they show him celebrating or kissing the old badge or whatever it is. And I don't know. I just think those videos absolutely. I watched the worst one in the world of that Marlon Santos the other day. Give that a dodge if you can. What do we got here? We've got. Well, this is chicken. There's a lot of chicken-based talk going on the chat. But Luke Steele would like Loftus-Cheek, but he might be costly. What is going on with Chelsea, by the way? So he's put the new stadium on hold. He is struggling to get a permit or a visa to get into the country. He's had to go for Israeli citizenship to allow him to get the visa to come over here. I think he started off, when he started off Abramovich, he had something like 16 billion. I think he's down to about 5 billion. I think he had to give half of it to his wife. I think in the bidding for the World Cup, Putin demanded quite a lot back of him because, for those of you that don't know, a lot of these are Russian oligarchs. They made their money off the back of privatization of the oil and gas industry in Russia when it went from, but basically when Yeltsin and Putin took over. So a lot of them made an awful lot of money. So now, listen, don't get me wrong, we'd all like to only have 5 billion in the bank, but if they're thinking the cost of running Chelsea and the new stadium was another billion, is he going to do it? He might well pull out, in which case we might get a cheeky deal. Not a cheeky chicken deal, Tom, but we might well get a cheeky deal for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Where are we going? No, there's no Nolan chicken dance. I'd have to score a goal to do a Nolan chicken dance, and I've not scored any goals recently. That's for sure. Although I did have a kick around in the garden the other day. We've mowed the lawn. The goal's up in the garden. So you never know your luck. There might be a chicken dance on the way. Just having a quick look back at the transfer tittle-tattle. Santos seems to be being well received. A lot of people poo-pooing the Arnautovic deal because Mourinho didn't traditionally like him and sort of slagged him off a bit. The height of Marlon Santos being brought into it, tad small for a centre half, which is what Gio was saying last night on the show. Limited footage of him. Yeah, there's not. Yeah, I mean, as Clayton again is talking about, Adama Traore. Now, obviously, Middlesbrough have not been particularly good. They appointed Tony Pulis, rallied a little bit. But when he played against us season before last, and he came to our place at London Stadium, he was absolutely brilliant. He was fast. He was skillful. Don't forget, he came up through the Barcelona ranks. I mean, he went from Barcelona to Aston Villa. He's really, really good. Having said that, I would take the other geezer that's at Lazio. You know, in fact, Clayton's put some players on here. I'm going to have to try and pronounce them. Benjamin Burigode. Have I said that? I've slaughtered that. And I'm Maxwell Cornet. Actually, I fancy an ice cream. Jonathan Bamba. Naeem Slitty. I tell you what, Clayton, these up. Have you made these up? Carl Toko Ekambi. And then Pierre Lise Mello. You've made those players up. They're not real players, are they? Anyway, it's on the transfer thread on the forum. The other one is Felipe Anderson. What are we thinking about this fella? Do we like the look of Felipe Anderson? Well, hold on. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the ice cream. Felipe Anderson looks very good, right? Pacey looks exactly what we need. I think we prefer him above Traore, but I'd like to see a transfer. I've got to say, I would like to see a transfer now. Much the same, much what everyone else is talking about. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Santos, Felipe Anderson, but apparently there's a couple of transfers that are quite left of field. So, just final one here from Flat Cap Dave. He says the club don't know who they're planning on moving yet. They need to work on who they're moving on. Who we're getting rid of, which could open up some wages for players being brought in. Just quickly on the general chat, is Obiang staying or going? What do we think on that? So yeah, I can see this. Tom, I can see that. I can see that all this chat goes on while we're doing a cup of tea. This is exactly why I don't deal with the questions when we're all doing a cup of tea. But it's very nice. It's smashing to see everyone chatting on here. I'd love to find out what happened on the general chat with the fella that went on Tinder. Actually, there was a comment yesterday that I saw on the chat afterwards, and somebody said, "Does Gonzo's wife know he's on Tinder?" I'm not on Tinder. Okay, I'm not. It was a joke. It was a joke. I'm honestly not. So yeah, I'm happily married and with 4 children. I ain't got the energy for any extracurricular activity. I'm going to assure you. Don't do that sort of thing. Does Obiang like ice cream? Don't know. Clayton, we've got to keep Obiang especially if we get rid of Kiate, which is the final thing I'm going to leave you with, which is the rumours are that we might well be keeping Kiate, that Pellegrini might fancy him. The truth is that nobody knows, okay? Nobody knows. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing another one of these with Mike next week, because it's actually quite hard to do it. I'm trying to read all this as it's going on, trying to read from various different other sources. So next week I'm going to be doing it with Mike, and we'll both be reading and just dealing with what you guys have got to say. Jamie Steele, Kiate, for Carvalho. Thank you very much for joining in. What I'm also going to do is once a month, I don't know if any of the rest of you in sort of WhatsApp groups and stuff like that. Because I'll tell you what, I get sent some funny clips from WhatsApp, and a lot of them are football related. So I've got a little thing coming up where I'm going to start putting some of these funny WhatsApp football clips into a video and just sort of tying them together. So if any of you have got any of them, then let me know. Let me know via Twitter or something like that. If you just tag me in at Gonzo Big Nose on Twitter, or just do a hashtag. What should we do it? Hashtag YouTube or something like that. I don't know. Let me know. Then I'll try and include them. Some things that I get on WhatsApp are not fit for public consumption or any consumption. Some things are consumed which shouldn't be consumed. Everybody's fancying an ice cream now. I wish I'd have mentioned it. Where I am now, this is the utility room, by the way. In this freezer somewhere is a Magnum, a caramel Magnum. And I'm going to, at 2 minutes to 10, I'm going to go for that caramel Magnum. I'm going to thank you very much. I'll see you next time. We'll keep these as regular as clockwork, as long as you keep leaving comments. It's not a toilet, Tom. It's not a toilet. Insert your flush sound there. We'll continue to do this show. I really enjoy it. It's nice. It's really nice to sort of interact with so many of you. There's so many of us are talking all the time. It's nice to know what you think. Thank you, Wally, by the way. It's really nice to get your opinions. I do read them all the time, but it's just really hard to, to type each one out. So it's a nice way of interacting with you all. Keep your opinions coming. Have a really nice weekend. Hopefully we sign somebody over the weekend. If we do, we'll jump on and we'll do an instant reaction show or something like that. I'll jump back in me little cupboard that will be magnumless by that point. Thank you very much. Go and watch. Go and continue whatever you're doing. I'm glad we got it done a little bit earlier. Sorry about the technical difficulties at the start. I'll try and work it out. I'm useless with all this stuff. Take it easy, everyone. Thank you very much for joining in. Take care of yourselves. Hopefully sign a player. And don't forget, Nigel Khan has got on this channel has got a World Cup preview thing coming up. I don't know what he's doing. It's not preview. I think he's going to be reviewing all the games. I don't know what he's doing. He just said he wants to do World Cup videos. So he likes that sort of thing. And I just said, crack on, mate. So yeah, it'd be really interesting if you'll join in with that and let him know what you think. Let him know how many games you think England are going to win, if they're going to win any at all. Who do you think is going to win the World Cup? I bet on France. I won't watch much of the World Cup, to be perfectly frank, but I have bet on France because their second team looks excellent. Never mind their first team. That's my tip. Don't tell me who's yours. We'll save that for Nigel's video. You're nice. I'll tell you what, nice fellas, nice bunch of people in the chat. Really nice comments on the YouTube as well. Thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for watching all that stuff. We do appreciate it. We do appreciate you. A bit sticky in there now. I'll see you later. Have a nice weekend. Thanks for watching.